Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is a July reading for Virgo. The reading that I'm doing for July is my Triptych Door reading. It's one of the ones that I offer. You can see it in the list of readings for sale in the description box down below underneath here. Way down there. The way that this works is usually I have a card in the center that's the union of the two opposites, or the comparing opposites in some way. And then typically there's going to be a smaller card on either side from the same deck. Now, this reading is already a little strange because I decided to use my charms instead of secondary card deck. But also strange because I got a double in the middle and I decided to keep it. There's only supposed to be one card here, but there's actually two. I'm using the Dreams of Gaia Tarot and my charms, and I'm getting ready to make these available as a PDF to print out so you can cut your own. If you download it, then you'll be responsible for printing the pages. But the upside is you can print it on colored paper, on paper any thickness that you want, as long as it'll go through your machine. If you've got some kind of plastic sheets that you can stuff in your printer, then you can have plastic ones. You can color them in, you can put glitter on them, you can glue them to thicker cardboard or whatever. And then at some point I'm gonna actually make like three-dimensional ones. But we'll see. So that's the plan. So the charms. Now I did look at where the planets are going to be. So there's not that much going on in Virgo. At least not until the end of the month. It's all about Leo mostly for July. But Venus moves into Virgo on the 22nd. And there was a thing going on. Oh, okay, there's a thing going on. Where was that? On the 28th and 29th with masculine energy and the sort of battle between the youthful trickster and the mature identity, right? Between the inner child and the self, or the ego and the self. But I see this coming in for Virgo as happening in the feminine energy. Starting on the 22nd and actually lasting at least until the end of the month instead of just 2 days like the masculine. So that's kind of interesting. I also see the moon in Virgo on the 13th to 15th. And I was looking at what card that could relate to. And it's giving me this duality between the 6 and the 10 of Pentacles. So the idea that I'm getting is that there's this spot for a couple days while the moon is in Virgo where it's like, how much am I giving to other people and how much am I keeping for myself? And then there, like a week and a half later, it's this like overhaul. It's like I'm balancing my checkbook for my core energy and the other sections of me, like me and my shadow, me and my ego, me and my inner child, right? It's like I've got to reconcile these tabs. I've got to synchronize all my watches. All right, so let's look at these cards. So we're doing the charms first on the side. I have the whale here, indicating possibly emotional stuff, but here I'm thinking more like ancestral psychic downloads, which I don't normally get with that charm. I'm going to put it at an angle. Let me move this over because the letter isn't that big. Like to be even, but here we go. Okay, and then I have Honey Badger. So Honey Badger is pretty cantankerous. Honey Badger doesn't give a shit, but I didn't think that that particular phrase was appropriate for the Virgo reading. So what I'm thinking about with Honey Badger is this sort of perseverance through stuff that would normally totally derail someone else. Right? But what is the ancestral download? Perhaps that the ancestors survived long enough to have progeny, and there's an emotional element to it, but it's the water part isn't necessarily about emotion so much as it is about the psychic intuition. Or it's sort of like would Honey Badger, hang on, there's a motorcycle. Would Honey Badger like fight so hard to survive if Honey Badger knew that their ancestors overcame these other things? You know, maybe not, but it's what's here is sort of like a reconciliation of like I'm all by myself out on the tip of the iceberg of my genetic line, which isn't what I expected. So then we have letter here, the letter. This almost feels like, and related to this, it's like I'm getting a genealogy. That's not what I expected based on the astrology. Okay, so maybe someone's doing one of those, you know, those like find your root shows, or getting one of those 23andMe things. They're like, I don't care if they copyright my DNA. I want to find out who my ancestors are. Let's see what's going on here. This reading took a left turn at Albuquerque, and now I'm kind of confused. Oh my god, I can't even. Getting a headache from looking through the camera instead of around the camera at the cards. Okay, so this is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and it's a little different. So this is number 10, Wisdom, which is roughly like the Hermit. I just heard the wheels on the bus go round and round. It's kind of like if the Hermit had the keys to Ezekiel's wheels. Now, this could either be like, I feel stupid. This is Wisdom inverted. Let's go this way so it faces the other card. But it's like gaining wisdom about something internal. Or it could be doing with a retrograde energy. Although, usually Virgo energy, Mercury retrograde, isn't happening in July, it's past, but we might be looking back on it. The Counselor. Vocational Guidance Counselor. I got whales here. Are those the same kind of whales? I think they're trying to be. Maybe those are mink whales. This is supposed to be a humpback whale. Okay. So we have another water card, and this one you can clearly see this psychic network, and there's all this, the wave interference patterns. And now there's two whales. It's like coming from all directions. Activation of what you can see in the material world and what you can see in the non-material world. Throat center activation. Speaking out about, but this is also inverted. Number 12, which is like the Knight of Cups. It's like a waterbed. Knight of Cups, energy. Aquarius and Pisces. Yeah, that's that retrograde. Although Uranus is not retrograde. But Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius, which is what that's coming. And there's two planets retrograde in Pisces. One of them is Sagittarius. No, one of them is Jupiter, which rules the wheel. Which I was talking about, like, wheels over here, because it was number 10, which is normally the wheel. Internal illumination. It's like I'm. Oh man, that is freaking weird. I'm being retrofitted with DNA upgrades. But there's an other aspect of finding more of your three-dimensional roots. Like I'm getting some 3D history, but what it's actually doing is giving you it's like giving you the right fuse for your electrical equipment, for your psychic equipment. It's like I can, if I have the right, was it ohms, amperage, resistance? It's resistance. All right, honey badger is resistant to a lot of attacks. But the, so I have a fuse. It's like getting a fuse, like the 3D world, genealogical, historical information may or may not be happening here. It could be energetic, but it's, it does look like that might be happening for some Virgos. But it's like a physical manifestation of like being retrofitted with the right fuse, resistance of fuse to activate this like DNA telephone to your ancestors. Sometimes learning who they were makes you start thinking about what they were like, who they were, what they thought about, what they went through. And now it's like I can connect to those energy signatures in my DNA. And now I can work on healing. I can expand my understanding of the universe and all that. It's like I'm gaining inner illumination to who I am and what makes up the molecules in my body. But it might also mean that your ancestors will, once the uplink is complete, will be able to give you information that they couldn't before. A little bit convoluted, but I think for a lot of people there will be like concrete, like real world genealogical information. Like an inheritance that you didn't know about, or some other unusual thing. But this is, it's like there is a subconscious aspect here. It's not necessarily like rolling the wheels, it's like connecting the dots. Okay, so that's what's going on for Virgo. But don't also remember that stuff about connecting the feminine energy. It's like, especially if it's, a lot of people will find that their feminine ancestors are the ones that they don't have information about because they took their husband's last name, or if they were native, they were given, you know, they just slapped like their name is Mary, even though it's like Cloverfoot in their native language or something like that. You know, they have an Aboriginal name, and then on the document it just says like Felicity, and there's no other document. So especially for matrilineal lines that were obscured, there should be some kind of connection made either energetically, light activation, psychically, and possibly up to and including physically. And maybe that's because of, it might be because of what's going on with the remains at indigenous schools, right? Not only in Canada, but it's supposed to be starting in the USA too. So that might be part of the reclamation of those energies and information. So we'll see. But this is what's happening overall for Virgo. All right, if you want to get a personal reading, we can move this up here. Shmur. Get that in focus a little better. Love how it starts sinking because my tripod is soggy. I don't mean literally wet, I just mean weak and everything. Okay. So if you'd like to get a personal reading, that list is going to be down here underneath in the description box. And if you'd like to contribute to this channel, if you found this reading helpful, energy exchange, donate, it's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. And then if you'd like stuff, I've got merch and prints and actual art items over here, coloring books, dark poetry. There's a coupon code there for Etsy, 17% off if you get 3 or more items. I got some social media and stuff. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.